The Home Office admits it does not tell families when asylum seekers die in its care. We're going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline that the Home Office admits it does not tell families when asylum seekers die in its care. The department says it does not want to reveal the details of death publicly in case it endangers relatives' mental health. Guys, while you're here, before I give my initial thoughts, if you can, hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So I want you to imagine something, guys. Imagine that someone you knew or someone you loved disappeared and you don't know what happened to them and you don't know where they've gone, what happened, right? And you never find out, ever. Like, you assume that they may be out there, but you don't know. Now imagine that someone else, someone close to you, or imagine somebody who knows that information, that knows that that person died, but didn't want to tell you because they didn't want you to suffer from that grief. Now, have you got that in your head? Okay. Now, I just want you to have a little think about that. Okay. Now, is it right in any way, shape, or form? And I generally would like you to answer me in the comments down below. Is it right that relatives of others are not told about them, about their deaths? And I'm very much on the receiving end that it doesn't feel right to me to hide that information from them. Now, I want to make this very, very clear here. I completely and totally understand the Home Office concern about how that can mentally and affect relatives of these relatives of asylum seekers dying, and it would mean any whether they're asylum seekers or not. Just take away the fact that they're asylum seekers, yeah. Just imagine the government withholding information from you, knowing that one of your relatives is dead, and they did not tell you that information. Yeah, just imagine that. Yeah. It would, and imagine that you actually find out about it, but the government knew about it and never told you about it as well. Just to let that sizzle in for a second. Like, that, for me, would hurt more than not knowing about it. Because you have to live with the question mark over your head of what happened to that person. I hope that person's okay. I hope we hear from that person soon. You know, you always have that, as opposed to the acceptance of that person no longer being here. Yes, of course, it's always heartbreaking to lose loved ones, lose people that you care about. Of course it is. But we all know that that's a part of life as well. We all know that. But it's not right to hide that information from them, is it? Now, I suppose the other question is, what if that prevents that person from committing suicide? Okay, that might be something generally up to debate. And I generally believe that they're obviously stating here that it endangers relatives, okay? So it's saying here it does not want to reveal the details of death publicly in case it endangers relatives' mental health. Now, if it goes towards down the path of them committing suicide, then there may, I'm saying quotations, may be a case not to reveal it. May, if it makes it. But in terms of mental health, they have a right to know. Just like you would have a right to know if a relative of yours, someone that you knew and not being told about it, you have that right to know. And that should be the same thing with them. I understand where the Home Office is coming from, but I'm sorry, but I just feel like that they should not be denying people the right to know what happened to their loved ones. I just don't feel that's right for me. It just doesn't sit right with me. Now, my opinion could change at the end of this article, but I don't think it will. But honestly, that's how I feel. You know, because I really want you to try and put yourself in the shoes of someone else, guys. Because this is one thing that I always try to do on this channel. I always try to put myself in the shoes of someone else to try and better understand why people think the way they think and why people feel the way they feel. And I'm still learning even after doing this channel for roughly a year, to try and understand that. It's not easy trying to read people's thoughts, because that's what I'm trying to do. But one thing I do know is that if someone out there that I love and that I care about, their life is gone and I'm not told about it, yes, would it harm me? I can absolutely guarantee you, as someone who suffers from mental health, yeah, it would absolutely affect me very, very much. But I have a right to know about that person no longer being with us. I have a right to know, just like you have a right to know about one of your relatives or someone you care about no longer being here. And I want to put that context in, because I really do think that that generally matters, whether they're an asylum seeker or not. So the Home Office has revealed that it does not routinely inform family members when asylum seekers die in its care, and does not want to supply details of these deaths publicly in case it upsets them and endangers their mental health. Disclosures come at a time when there has been 176 deaths from all causes since 2010, and a doubling in the number of suicides over this period, with at least 23 people taking their lives. Okay, so we are talking about those effectively taking their lives here. This is deeply concerning. So they don't want to reveal it because they don't want these people committing suicide. But like, are we making things better, or are we making things worse by keeping that information from them, though? That's the thing. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to me. It just doesn't feel right to me. In 2022, 46 people died in Home Office accommodation, more than double the 19 who died in 2021. NGOs have recently warned that asylum seekers are at particularly high risk of suicide, in part due to Home Office policies such as the introduction of mass accommodation sites such as Wethersfield, Essex, and the Bibby Stockholm barge in Portland, Dorset. We've reported on cases on this channel in the past about one or two trying to commit suicide in certain accommodations. We obviously heard about what happened with the one in the Bibby Stockholm in barge. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. The Home Office has confirmed it's making less information about these deaths available than it previously did. The information about the practice of not notifying loved ones of deaths has emerged in the ruling against the Home Office by the Information Communications Office, the ICO. The Civil Fleet, a news blog that focuses on support for refugee rescue and support missions across Europe, regularly applies for data about asylum seekers' deaths under the Freedom of Information Rule. The Home Office provides information that there have been 5 deaths in its accommodation between January and June last year, with 1 confirmed as suicide. But it refuses to provide details such as age, gender, and nationality, citing the section of Freedom of Information Act, giving the right to withhold information if likely to endanger the physical or mental health of any individual or their safety. The Civil Fleet applied to the ICO, which has ruled that the Home Office must disclose the missing details by 4th of April or risk being in contempt of court. The Home Office has the right to appeal against the ruling. In its ruling, the ICO said the Home Office explained that it had that when somebody died in its asylum accommodation, it was not standard practice to locate or contact the next of kin. If relatives instead worked out that their loved ones had died as a result of an FOI disclosure, there was a risk of endangering the mental or physical health of their family members, it said. But that's not the case for... I feel like that, like, I'm extremely torn here, because, like, I understand the Home Office concerns, but at the same time I feel like that's not for them to decide as well. That's how I generally feel. Like, I feel like there needs to be some kind of discussion of what to do here. The Home Office admitted there is no actual evidence of causal link between previous disclosures and this endangerment. Right, this is key point here. Let me read that again, yeah, because this is really important. So the Home Office has admitted that there is no actual evidence of a causal link between previous disclosures and this endangerment. It added that in the spring of 2023, there was a reconsideration of disclosure of information to relatively to high-profile notifications in relation to asylum seekers. The family of Leonard Farku, who believes to have taken his life on the Bibby Stockholm barge in December 23, told The Guardian the Home Office had not informed them of his death. Why? Because they were worried that he would commit suicide then. Deborah Coles, the director of Inquest, a charity providing expertise to bereaved people on state-related deaths in England and Wales, has said the levels of obfuscation and denial from the Home Office are unparalleled across any other public body. They show utter contempt for people who die in their care and their families. This is a clear disregard for their legal and moral responsibility. Again, guys, people have a right to know. I understand. So the Home Office spokesperson said, any death in asylum accommodation is tragic and always be subject to an investigation by the police and corridor. When the next of kin should be contacted, this will be done by the relevant authorities. The Home Office continues to work to ensure the needs and vulnerability of those residing in asylum accommodation are identified and considered, including those relative to mental health and trauma. We are disappointed with the IOC ruling and will be considering the next steps. This is very difficult for me. This is very difficult for me, guys. This is really, really difficult for me because like I've said, I'm trying to put myself in people's shoes, and you need to understand this, okay? You have a right to know if your relatives have lost loved ones, and this idea that it affects their mental health and those committing suicide. I understand that risk. I understand those risks. I generally do. But it is not the Home Office's right to make that decision. It's not up. It should not be up to the Home Office to decide whether people should know or not know whether their relatives have died under their care. They should not have that right. It's not right that they do that. I understand the risks. I generally do, guys. I understand the mental health and I understand the possibility of suicide. I generally do that. I really, really do. But, I just feel like the Home Office have no right to withhold that information from relatives. They really don't. They really, really don't. I understand the risks. I really, really do, people. I really, really do. And maybe some of you may disagree and say, but Regan, these people could commit suicide if they lose their one and only loved ones. And I get that. I totally understand that. But the Home Office cannot hide that information from their relatives. They really can't. It just doesn't sit right with me, guys. It really doesn't. I'm gonna have to sit on the side of saying that the Home Office is wrong to hide this information, to withhold this information from relatives. I'm gonna say that. I don't want to sit on the fence, but I'm gonna have to. I don't want to sit on the fence on this one, guys, because there are some discussions and topics that I sit on the fence on, but on this, with what I generally feel like on my conscience, to not be told about a relative dying and not being informed of that, I think is wrong. I think it's wrong, and the Home Office are wrong to not tell families that, whether they're asylum seekers or not, whatever the situation, to hide and withhold that information, I think is wrong. But what do you guys think? Do you think the Home Office is right, concerned about their endangered relatives' mental health, of possibility of committing suicide? What you guys thought on this? It's a very tough decision. I think it's a difficult one. But like I said, try to put yourself in their shoes and try to understand the situation. Do the Home Office have any justification for it, do you feel? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to financially support me in the work I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.